Alright, guys and girls, basically there's been a lot of talk, a lot of stuff going around the internet and even on the news about the small town of Clintonville, Wisconsin. Okay, there's been reports of mysterious booms, houses shaking. There's been a lot of theories thrown out the window, a lot of theories brought in the window, so to speak. Scientists have pretty much ruled out that earthquakes are causing it, but they just said that there was a 1.5 that took place there, so nothing really major. What you're looking at here is Google Earth. I'm pretty much clicked on Clintonville right now. We're going to actually go down to street level to where you could actually see a little bit of the town. It's such a small town, most of you probably have never been there, probably every one of you watching this video, unless you are from there. This is what it looks like, you know, just your typical town, but it's making the news. I have done a lot of research into this, and basically I found a video on YouTube that I think pretty much sums it up. I mean, I'm not a scientist. I don't know all the information that's being released about this particular topic, but I mean, just looking around here, it just looks like your basic little town. Almost looks like the town where I live. I mean, it's just a small, typical town that's now made national news. What's going on in Clintonville, Wisconsin? I mean, after watching this video, I'm gonna connect it to I'm gonna connect the video I found to this video, and you know, it's looking like it could be Yellowstone. I mean, a Yellowstone supervolcano eruption sounds a lot better than this. You know, this old film right here, War of the Worlds, of aliens that are living under the ground and they're actually starting to come up from the ground. I mean, you know, Yellowstone is a volcano. It is an active volcano. It's well overdue to erupt. It could erupt, and it will erupt. Scientists even say that it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. So, I don't know. I mean, the jury's out for me, guys. I don't know what's going on here. You know, I interviewed David Sarita, and his wife was on there on the show, and she was talking about how she was shown visions by Ashtar, which is a galactic alien from outer space, and he showed her several visions, one being a pole shift. Now, could this be a sign of a pole shift about to take place? I have no idea. I do know this, though. Earthquakes are happening in places that it's not really likely. I mean, if you look at last year, you got Washington, D.C., this year in 2012, actually the day before, it was New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, there was an earthquake in Youngstown, Ohio. I believe 5 point something on the Richter scale. You guys and girls can look that up. I'm not making this stuff up. You know, then you got Colorado. Would that be signs, you know, would this be signs of a pole shift? Or with the galactic alignment coming up here, you know, a lot of people are saying the year 2012 is the end of the world. Could the galactic alignment have some kind of gravitational influence? You know, could Crystal Sarita actually be correct about this vision of a pole shift? I will be interviewing her on March 26th, I believe, and that'll be at 12 o'clock a.m. So it'll actually be Sunday evening, but technically Monday morning. I will be interviewing her, and she's going to share her visions that Ashtar showed her. So you guys and girls visit www.themidnighthighway.com for more information, and I'm going to post a video up that I think pretty much, you know, is the best video I've found. It compresses all the information and theories about what could be taking place in Wisconsin. So you guys judge for yourself. Enjoy the video, and you'll definitely want to tune into the show when I post it up on themidnighthighway.com. God bless, guys.
Finally tonight, a story about a nice place they're calling a boomtown, jokingly. The problem is it's not funny. The good people in one town in Wisconsin would right now give anything to find out what's making that noise. Their story tonight from NBC's Kevin Tibbles.
In what used to be sleepy Clintonville, Wisconsin, something's going boom in the night.
It was almost like someone took a wrecking ball to the side of the house.
Problem is, no one in this town of 4,600 west of Green Bay seems to know what it is.
I thought a car was coming through my house. It was that loud.
For 3 nights running, residents have been shaken and awakened. All these dots represent 365 residents reporting booms.
There's like some noises happening. I don't know what the hell it is.
We have some weird thing going on, and our whole house is shaking.
While it's a serious situation, I think that in fairness to our citizens, people are trying to have a little bit of fun with it.
And the Twitter sphere reverberated. What are the booms in Clintonville, Wisconsin? I had no idea they were filming the Tremors remake in Clintonville, Wisconsin.
Bert, they're under the ground!
This may sound familiar. In the 1990 sci-fi spoof Tremors, underground aliens shake up a small town in Nevada, 2,000 miles from Clintonville, Wisconsin.
No Richter scale can measure it. No scientist can explain it.
Scientists do seem to know what it isn't. It's not an earthquake or underground explosion or exploding gas or electrical problem or even burping sewer system. And not a frost quake caused by unseasonably warm temperatures. So far, experts are stumped as to what it is.
Their whole lives are being disrupted by this, and we don't have a good answer for them.
So tonight the mystery continues as to why Clintonville has become Boomtown, USA. Kevin Tibbles, NBC News, Chicago.
Hey everybody, Dutch Suds here, 8:32 a.m. Central Time on Friday, March 23rd, 2012. And I'm over here on Sheila Alien's YouTube page. I'm going to put a link down below. You guys can come over here and be sure to come over and check out all these videos recently on the mysterious sounds occurring up in Clintonville, Wisconsin. Now, several people are speculating as to what's going on. They brought in the USGS, and even yesterday, the USGS threw a 1.5 magnitude earthquake on the charts for Wisconsin. They just willy-nilly added it on. Now you can't see it on the regular feed. You actually have to go over to the ANSS feed, which will show you everything 1.0 and greater, and then you'll totally be able to see it. Let me just go ahead and bring it up for you here. Alright, there it is. Alright, that little tiny earthquake they added there. Alright, now there was no earthquake there. Right? This is not earthquake activity. Let me go ahead and show you what I found. So I've come into the area and I've brought up Google Earth. I looked for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours straight on Google Earth trying to figure out what's around this area. It took me a minute, but I found it. Okay? So let me just go ahead and show you what I found. Let's go to Clintonville, Wisconsin first. And you'll see a yellow place mark on here that says Marathon. I'll get to that in a second. Okay, here's Clinton. And in the area, people are reporting the ground shaking, rumbling occurring, their houses shaking, and they can't figure out what's going on. Okay? So I went and studied the entire area, and what I found is a little bit, well, it's a little bit disturbing. Right here, this, right here, is Cauldron Reservoir. USGS has some stuff on it. There's some other posts online about it. I'll put some links down below. You guys can go click around and you guys can go read what I read and come to your own conclusion on what's going on here. But let me just show you what I think is happening. You see this ridge right here? This is not a creek or a river or anything like that. They might tell you that that's the remnants of an old washout, which it could be, also an old shoreline. But it extends all the way down to here and goes all the way up into Lake Superior. And if you look up the history of Lake Superior, itself is an old volcanic region, an old caldera. And there were old fissures that extend out deep underground that indicate that. Marathon in particular, if you go type up Marathon, Wisconsin volcano in Google, you will find it. As a matter of fact, let me just go do that for you guys. 1 second. Okay, over here on Google, typed in Marathon, Wisconsin volcano, hit search, and you'll get a few things. And you get a little post on this explaining that the Dells of Eau Claire and Marathon County are known for having old dormant volcanoes, some of the oldest in the United States, and they've been weathered down, of course, because of the glacial melt, and there were glaciers that scraped away most of the mountaintops up here. So you can imagine this is one of the oldest mountain ranges in the United States that's been weathered away. And so look how far away that is. That's like 20 miles. All right, that's 20 miles away is a dormant volcanic chain. Now 50 miles or a little less to the east, somewhere in this region here, is a nuclear reactor. Okay, they built a nuclear reactor right down in here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Turn on the place markers here. Okay, Q&E. And it's south of Q&E right here. All right, so here's your nuclear reactor for the area. Within 50 miles, you have a dormant volcanic chain within 20 miles, and let's see if there's any kind of fracking activity going on in here. Of course, it's hard to tell with the amount of plots that are laid out here and the shape of the plots, because most fracking pads are rectangular in shape, and they have a small apparatus in the middle. It's hard to identify here. It'll take probably a couple days of going over this to see if there are any. But just to have a dormant volcanic chain to the west, and you have Caldera Reservoir to the north, and people are hearing explosions and booms in the ground, well, put that all together. You've got old Lake Superior, which is a huge old caldera. Again, you guys can go look that up, or I'll go ahead and do that for you again right now. Let's just do that. And I'm sorry I'm doing this. You know, I want you guys to go look this stuff up yourself, but I know some people probably won't do it. So here it is, Lake Superior, Wisconsin volcano. Hit search, of course, and you'll get a few things, one of which will be a actual paper on the subject, which you can open up. We'll just go ahead and open that. And it's from a long time ago. We're looking, I think, in the 60s. I went and read this yesterday. All right, and again, look right where that is, and then pay attention to where Clintonville is. I mean, it's in the same exact region. All right, this is just one of the things that comes up. You guys can go look up all these different things, go do the reading. It's really interesting. I did it yesterday into today, and there's much more information on it. You've got USGS files on it. You've got state files on it, geological survey files on it. So it's pretty interesting to see that that is occurring up here. And so when you get this deep underground movement that we've been experiencing over the past, gosh, we've been seeing it over the last several months, if not the entire year, this pressure that's been building along the North American Craton. We've seen 5.0 earthquakes kick off in Colorado, right here at the border. We've also seen 5.0 earthquakes kick off over here in Virginia. 5.0 earthquakes kick off down here in Arkansas and in Oklahoma. So what does Colorado, Oklahoma, Arkansas, over here in Virginia, what do they all have in common? Well, they're all man-made drilling sites where they've penetrated the earth with deep shafts that cause, I think, earthquakes when this pressure builds. Of course, the pressure is going to build and release its weak spots first, weak spots being the spots where are drilled or where there are dormant volcanoes. Because once you get west of Colorado and you start going up through the North American Craton in the northwest, that's where you start seeing all these dormant volcanic sites having earthquakes, such as down here in Arizona, up here in Utah, up here in Idaho, up here in Washington and Oregon. And I've documented that. I'll put the links down below. You guys can go watch those videos. So you get back over here, okay, we look at the North American Craton on the eastern side, and there's dormant volcanoes having issues as well on the eastern side, such as down here in Georgia, did a video on it. Down here in Arkansas, did a video on it. Down here in Missouri, did a video on it. So this puts us dead center of the North American Craton. And if the rest of the areas are experiencing pressure, if the magma from deep underneath is experiencing any kind of upward movement, or if the heat is pressing its way upward for some reason, it would give us signs like this. Explosions under the ground, steam coming out of the ground, different types of venting activities coming out of the ground further south where it's weak. You got to figure up here is one of the hardest points in the center of the North American craton, which means that these explosions that they're hearing might actually indeed be underground explosions. It might be natural gas exploding, heat causing, some kind of heat reaches that natural gas pocket, boom, you get an explosion. Of course, it might register as a small earthquake. Everybody would feel it. But, of course, in Wisconsin, you also have to deal with the borderline Arctic tundra. With postglacial rebound in effect, the flex that's going to occur, look at the amount of water that's in this region already. Okay? You've got to figure that this area is riddled with deep underground aquifers, underground rivers, lakes, and all that together. When you put that all together, that to me says sign of uptick, be aware, there might be possible earthquake activity up here in Wisconsin in some part of the future here, but this is just a forerunner. This is just a sign that the movement's occurring. Now, I think the USGS would never admit this. Of course, they would never tell everybody that this might be a sign of deep underground volcanic activity. But this is going on right now. Now, let me take you and show you something else that's going on that's just wild. This is over in Yellowstone National Park. Okay, this started roughly this past week. You could say it's been going on for 4 or 5 days, but it didn't start in earnest until a day and a half ago, right after the Mexico quake, 2 days ago. Okay, now let me show you what I'm talking about here. Mary Lake and the regular lake. Okay, these are the two areas we're going to talk about. You see this right here? This is not normal lake activity. It's not normal waves, okay? We're looking at something else. You see this pattern that's occurring on the chart here? All right, now let me take you back one day to yesterday. Okay, there you go. Now that's movement over 8 or 9 hours on a sequential basis. Now you might look at this and say, gosh, this almost looks man-made, right? At 1800 hours, starting at let's see here, at 1804 roughly, you see this. Look at that, right? I mean, this almost looks like some kind of drilling or vibration pattern of some kind. This looks like a frequency. And again, I mean, you could just go look at a waveform. Go look at an oscilloscope. You can see almost the same kind of frequencies. This is crazy. And so let's go back. And that's over the course of days. So let's go back one more day. Right? And you see it even over a course of a longer period of time. This is a sign of some kind of serious movement occurring at Mary Lake up in Yellowstone. Now, I want to show you last year, just to give you an idea compared to last year. Here's the same time last year. All right? So compare this to last year. Let's go back another year. Here it is the year before. And let's go back to 2009. Okay, slight earthquake activity, but nothing like what we're seeing now. All right? And so let's come back, bring it current, 2012. Generate the report. There you go. Okay, so something is going on there. What it is, I don't know. I've never seen a signature like this. This is not your normal lake signature. All right, if it is, then the whole lake is sloshing. But it almost looks man-made. The way it's going here, it looks like this is something going on up there. They're doing something, possibly. If not, then it's natural. If it's natural, it's not good. If it's man-made, well, that might be an excuse. Then it might go away. But if it's natural, we've got a real problem at Mary Lake up in Yellowstone that we need to pay attention to. Eruption? No, I don't think so. Earthquake? Possibly. Some kind of new vent up there? Some kind of new geologic feature? Possibly. Who knows? But this is huge. Let's just mark it out. Okay, let's just look at this bottom chart here, starting at roughly 1600 hours, a little bit before 1600, going up and peaking. Well, it looks like it would peak all the way up here beyond the chart at 1830 and then come back down to 2200 hours. But right in the middle, you've got a flare of activity. This, I don't know what to make of this. If anybody has an idea of what this might be, aside from just regular wave activity, I mean, this does not look like regular wave activity on a lake. And again, we just compared the past 3 years to go look. We can go look more, but this is the first time myself and several other people who have been watching these charts in particular have ever seen this. Let me know, guys. Hang in there and be aware.